I'm in the heart of the city, South San Francisco, where my wife and her family grew up, right down below Telegraph Hill, in what is known as North Beach, the Italian district. But been here for a couple of days and headed out to go visit now with John Ortberg and his church in Menlo Park and Saratoga down near Silicon Valley. But the story that I want to tell is really how the churches that we're working with these days are wanting to do things to be able to reach their cities. And sometimes city churches are also wanting to communicate that message. But how do you reach folks in the more urban settings around the country? Well, we've had a real fun run with a number of the churches across the major cities of the country. And I'll start in Chicago with Choco de Jesus, who wanted to develop a curriculum around the book he did, Amazing Faith, and then another book that he did called In the Gap. And so in a day and a half period, we went to 9 different locations all over the city in very urban, rough areas, some places where he grew up in the hood, and got a chance to be able to film him talking a little bit about the heart of the city in each of the locations. He created a powerful tool that we were able to develop that was used in his weekend services and also became a published resource, where you're able to give a picture of some place that you want to reach, and some places you've been, or some places that are kind of missional opportunities for whoever the church is. But it's not just in urban areas. We went to Mike Baker in downtown Indianapolis, who's got a love for the city. We went all over the city and be able to shot a series that he did that was also kind of on an evangelistic, kind of a missional message that he did that aligned with the weekend, that also was aligned with a book that he did and launched at the North American Christian Convention a number of years back. But over to New York, right in the Bronx, with Michael Durso and the team out there, was so much fun for me because we shot this in near subways and down underneath areas that were just all tattered or graffiti filled, and they got a chance to just say where they were from and how God used this to be able to reach them, and how we ought to now go back and reach the folks in the community. So they were all aligned with a series that they did, and the series that the Dursos did at Christ Tabernacle was called No Place Like Home. And the spirit of it is, there's no place like the family of God. There's no place like belonging to a community, that feeling, that longing to belong, even in broken and family systems. So, from where he was, it gave us a chance to be able to do something that, we really hadn't done before. It was really fun. And a lot of the churches that we're working with are trying to do things that are kind of mission, vision, value series, like Dean Curry up in Tacoma, Washington. He did a series that kind of was called Jesus Basics, and it talked about how you want to reach the community, and in this case through community. It was kind of the message that we did with a series that he aligned and said, basically, folks, it all gets down to the main thing being the main thing. It's about Jesus, and let's just keep it simple, keep it pure. It was really fun to be able to see. This last week I was not only in San Francisco, I was on the other end of the country in Miami, probably the other 2 points of the country, Miami, Florida, with Rich Wilkerson. His father did the Cross and the Switchblade, David Wilkerson, and he was in Seattle area, and he moved to an area that he said he initially wanted to reach the poor. And him and his wife, they're white, and they are in almost an all-black congregation. And so to be there with him and to partner with him has just been a pure joy, just to see what God's going to do down there. I'm really excited. We're just getting started with them, but how on earth all that works is a God thing. He's got a background where his family grew up in a part of the country where it was all African American, and his son, who was 17 when he moved from Tacoma, ended up being the high school what do they call, prom king or something like that. But these guys just have a heart for reaching racially diverse settings. And then I was in Atlanta this last week as well with Dennis and Colleen Rouse, and these guys are right in the heart of Atlanta, and it's really fun to be able to talk with them. We're going to do a racial reconciliation kind of series with them, both African American and white, and also Latino. It's like a lot of these, it's not just black or white congregations. Choco de Jesus has got primary Puerto Rican, and Sergio de la Mora, who he says he's trying to do some good in the hood, is what he says down in San Diego at his church. These guys are Samuel Rodriguez up here in San Francisco. it's not just one or the other ethnicity, but it's just diverse. But we're doing a lot of series where pastors in the suburbs are wanting to go out into the cities and share where they want, where and who and how they want to reach the city, and the call to not just reach their suburban little local, settings. But it's really been fun to be able to be back up here in the old TV show Streets of San Francisco, but just being there right downtown and seeing the need. I was just at something, there's a gal that walked by me while I was filming down there, and I said, so what are you guys up to? And she said, well, we're just doing something called Santa Con, and it's kind of like Comic-Con, like they do in San Diego, the comic strip kind of a thing, but it was a Santa Claus thing. This is a Christmas season, and I said, she's just coming down here to get drunk and just kind of hang out. And it's just honest. Just our need to be able to reach out into the community through community is kind of the heart of what we're doing. But to be able to do series like this is really a lot of fun for us. Anyway, to the degree that this hits you, helps you guys be able to go do something awesome. If there's some way we can help you guys develop a series like this that aligns with a weekend and helps to launch groups, no matter where the diversity of your congregation is, you still could do it. We put almost 2,000 people in the Bronx in groups, and the same about 1,000 or so in Chicago, and I can't wait to see what happens in Miami and up here in San Francisco. Until then, blessings.